Hello, and welcome to the Career Playbook, Unspoken Rules of the Career Game. Many of you are career professionals playing a game that you have no idea what the rules are, and you are expected to rise and advance in your career, but you have no idea how. And so today, we're going to learn some of those rules so that you can play the game in order to achieve your desired level of success. So for 30 minutes, we're gonna dive right in. We only have a short amount of time, so I wanted to go through some of these things pretty quickly, but I believe that you will get what you need and be able to execute tomorrow. And so that you can be able to advance, whether that be horizontal, whether that be a lateral move, and so that you can actually have the power in order to, steer your career. So I'm going to go into a few introductions. I want you to know who you're speaking to and why am I the expert on this topic today. And then also we're going to go right into the rules and then what they mean and how you play a part in that. And then we will end it there. So I hope that you're ready. You got your pen and paper because we're going to go through this pretty quickly, but I'm quite sure you'll catch on and you'll understand what I'm talking about and be ready to play this game. Okay? Who am I? I am LaShawna N. Williams. Yes, I am a finance executive with 20 plus years in corporate America. I started my career, yes, entry level in payroll and things of that nature, but I also recently, not even recently, about 16, 17 years ago, I wanted to move to Atlanta and I started with a company and started out as a temporary employee. Yes, I started out as a temp and was able to navigate my way up to finance executive. A lot of hard work, a lot of careering, and I had to play the game. So yes, this in and of itself makes me an expert on how to play this game. It wasn't easy, but I navigated my way through using some of the rules that we are going to learn today. I am also an entrepreneur. I am the CEO and founder of Impact Business Institute. We provide training and development programs and workshops for career professionals who want to go from employee to CEO. Is that you? Well, come on over. Learn a little bit about the business and come on over and see what we offer so that we can help you do exactly what you want to do. And then I'm also an author. I've written and published 2 books. One of them is The Stranger Within, One Woman's Journey to Self-Love, which is my memoir on my journey to becoming, loving myself. So my journey through depression, through that dark space, and becoming victorious in a way that I love myself. And now I can come on here confidently with a smile, loving myself and being authentic and just taking off all of those masks. And I also wrote a workbook. It's called the Paycheck to Purpose Workbook, How to Make Money Doing What You Love. Because we all want to have enjoyment and fulfillment in what we're doing. We spend too many hours in our days working a job that may not even give us the fulfillment or the satisfaction that we crave. And so I wrote a workbook to help someone, maybe that's you, to learn how to do that and navigate. But today we are going to go through the rules of this career game, okay? So get your pen and papers ready because we're getting ready to go through this, like I said, pretty quickly, but it's a lot of meat in here, so let's go. Roll up your sleeves, get your game face ready because we're about to begin. Rule number 1, you must remain relevant. The quickest way to stall your career is to be content. What does this mean? Don't allow yourself to become content or complacent. And what that is, we get into these roles and we sometimes, we become real comfortable in the position and the role that we play. We get real comfortable with, oh yes, I know my job back and forward, I could do it in my sleep, and that's why my company values me. That's not the case. What that is that you're stalling your career, and you're also not even looking, and you're not even being valued within your organization. So you need to not be complacent or content with where you are, and always be looking for that next role, always be looking for what's next, and preparing for that, right? And so this also means that you need to learn how to add value to your organization. And what that is you learning the goals and the objectives of the organization. And sometimes we feel like, oh yeah, well, I'm doing that because I'm doing this job. No, that means that you're doing a job that is necessary for them to be productive. But in order to add value, you need to get an understanding of what they value. And sometimes it's like in certain roles in today's society, technology is very important. So if you know some of the ins and outs within technology, you are valued. Strategy is very important. Innovation is very important. Data analytics is very important. And so in different industries, there are different values from the organization's perspective. And you need to understand what those are and place yourself accordingly. No longer is it, oh, I'm doing my job, and that is value added to the company. Because let me tell you, that yeah, you doing your job, they can replace you tomorrow. Somebody else can do that same job. What you need to do is add value to that organization, and that is something that they cannot replace. And never settle for the status quo. Sometimes we get these desktop procedures, and we get the training manuals, and we're like, okay, I'm going to follow it by the book. Yeah, that is great when you first start your career, or when you first start that position. But after a while, you need to start asking, how can we do things differently? How can we streamline this process? Is there a more effective or efficient way to do that? How can I help make this process better so that we can add value to the organization? Always asking those questions, and never settle for the status quo. Status quo in your job means status quo in your career. And that's not what we want. We want to propel, we want to advance, we want to move forward. So what do you need to do? Learn constantly. Always learn, learn, learn. And whether that is reading the trades, magazines, whether that is reading books, whether that is job shadowing, you always need to learn. Every day should be a learning opportunity for you. Whether that's speaking to a colleague and just learning and getting an understanding for the business, you should be learning daily, all the time, all the time. And also, you need to invest in your personal and professional development. This may mean seminars and conferences. For me, that meant certifications. I feel like, I'm certified in MBTI and strength strategies and career coaching. And that all helps me to say, hey guys, look, I add another element to my career toolkit. I add something else to my resume that maybe some of the finance executives that are my colleagues don't offer and don't provide. And so I am one step ahead or one step above my peers. And you need to do the same. Become the subject matter expert. And so people need to know why they should come to you, why they should rely on you, right? And I wanna preface this and just make sure that you understand that being the subject matter expert can also help and hinder you. You don't want to be that person that they always dump the work on and always come to, but never get that recognition for that promotion or advancement. So you need to actually play the game a little bit more strategically, but you want to make sure that people are coming to you and they know why they're coming to you. And so that, again, gets you one leg up on your peers or your colleagues. And step outside your comfort zone. You need to, be able to change, be able to pivot, and be able to take on what's next. And that could be scary. You might not know it back and forwards like you know your current role. But in order for you to advance, you need to start preparing for your promotion while you're in your current role. So that means taking on stretch responsibilities. That means, learning something new. That may mean, going outside of your comfort zone and meeting other people within your organization to help further your career navigation. So you need to step out of your comfort zone, stop being shy, because this is not about, being shy and comfortable. This is about moving forward and achieving your goals, achieving that position that you desire. And we have no time for you to be stuck in your comfort, because comfort gets us nowhere. It just makes us comfortable, right? It doesn't make us successful, and that's what we want. So let's move on. Rule number 2, your personal brand is everything. Everything. Your brand is what people think and say about you when you're not in the room. This is very, very important. What does this mean? People develop a perception of you within the first 11 seconds. Yes, I said 11 seconds of meeting you. And so when you have your first meeting or your first encounter with somebody, they are already sizing you up, okay, and making a perception of you. And so you want to put your best foot forward, and you want to make sure that your brand is represented accurately when you're meeting people. Your brand will speak for you when you're not in the room. Most of the time, we are not in the room. That's for maybe senior leadership. That's maybe for your boss's boss's boss. They're in the room. And so if you're not in the room, your brand needs to speak for itself. And so you want to make sure that your brand is positive and that it is it's authentic, it matches with your values and all of that good stuff, so that when they're speaking about you, that they're putting you in the best light. And how people perceive you will determine the speed in which your career advances. And so if people perceive you as, they just want to do their job, they don't do the extra mile or what have you, even though that may not be you, if that's how they perceive you, that's how they're going to represent you when they're at the table and you're not. So you want to make sure that your brand is on point. So what do you need to do? Gain clarity around your career. Around your brand. You need to gain clarity around your career, but you also need to gain clarity around your brand. What are your values? What do you stand for? What do you want to be known for? When people are in this room and you're not there, what do you want them to think about you? What do you want them to say about you? What do you want them to feel about you? And then you need to go on a campaign to make sure that other people know this. Your brand is great, but if you're the only one that know what your brand is, then it's not effective. So you want to make sure that other people know what your brand is, but you got to be clear about it first. Align your brand with everything that you do. And what I mean by that is, for me, I am all about personal and professional development. I'm about mentorship. I'm about talent development. And so everything that I do is all around that. I volunteer for mentor programs. I am a part of organizations within the company that I work for that is all about advancement and career advancement and helping others to develop. I created a mentor program within the company that I work for. So everything that I do is on brand. I am about authenticity. So everything I come with colors. I'm very vibrant, but I am also a finance executive, but I gotta be me. And so I show up that way in every meeting, in every instance, in every encounter. And you need to do the same thing. Constantly ask for feedback. I know feedback is a scary thing. We don't want to hear about it, but it helps us grow. And so constantly ask for feedback. If you're not involved in a 360 assessment, which is very great, you can ask your colleagues and ask your boss and other people within your circle, your professional circle, for feedback. But if you're not able to take that assessment, then you need to just ask. Don't wait for your year-end review to get the feedback. Ask, people that you trust, and then find out what the perception is of you, and pivot, adjust, and move forward. But you need to know this because, again, perception is reality. So other people's perception is their reality, and you want to make sure that you are in the right light and your brand is speaking for itself. And manage your brand. Even though you've come out, yes, this is my brand, everybody knows it, you always have to manage your brand, and that's where the feedback comes in. And from the feedback, you can pivot, you can adjust, and you can manage your brand accordingly, because you always want to make sure that you're in a positive light, or you're in the right light, that your brand is represented accordingly. And so manage your brand always. You're always having a brand campaign. You correct, you pivot, you move on, you do, you announce your brand. And I don't mean announcement like, hey guys, I have a new brand. It's more so that you're showing up and representing your brand. You are that image. You're speaking, you're communicating. Everything that you do is on brand. So that's what I mean about that. It's not like you have to post it out there and send people an email. It's more about you representing your brand accordingly, and your image, your communication, your activities, and everything that you do. Rule number 3, your board of directors is key. Key. Career success is about who you know and about who knows you. When I first started at the company that I currently work for, my boss asked me, how many people outside of your current department and myself, and she's speaking, and this is my boss speaking now, knows who you are? And at the time, it was very few. And so I went on a campaign to make sure that other people, not only in the finance and accounting organization or departments knew me, but other people outside of there knew my name, knew what I stood for, knew my value, knew my work ethic. And that's what you have to do. But sometimes you can't do it by yourself. Not sometimes, let me backtrack. Most of the times you can't do it by yourself, and that's where your board of directors come in. So what is your board of directors? This includes people who are your champion for your and support you on your career growth. These are the people that are they serve many roles, and they play many parts, but they are champions for your career success. And that's what you want. That is key. This group has a seat at the table and will be your advocate when you're not there. Again, most of us are not seated at the table. And what I mean by that, there's succession planning conversations going on. There are promotion conversations that are going on that we are not privy to sometimes. And so if you're not going to be in that room, you want to make sure that there's an advocate for you in that room who can speak to what value you bring, your work ethic, and say, hey, I think this person needs a chance, or this person should be promoted. And so this is what your board of directors is there for. This group may include a few of your personal contacts, but you want to make sure that you have a lot of professional contacts as well, because like I said, these are going to be your advocates, your champions for your career growth. So what do you need to do? Build relationships. Yes, I know we all hear that term, networking. Networking is great. Building relationships is better. Networking means I added a group of names to my database. I collected business cards. But what I'm talking about is building relationships. So when people are at the table, they can recall, oh yes, I know such and such because they did X, Y, and Z. Building relationships means that you're nurturing these relationships. You're not just meeting them one and done and not following up, or not, having coffee with them every now and again. You are building relationships so that people, like I said, could be your champion, could be your mentor, could be your advocate, could be your support, and also can provide guidance and help you as you navigate your career. Again, these rules, we're not taught in school. And so your board of directors can help you, because there are a lot more rules. I'm just going through 4 today, but there are a lot more rules to the game, because this game is going to be played with or without you. So you need to get 2 or 3 mentors. That's right, 2 or 3 mentors. And you need to pick them strategically. So one may be a mentor that provides some kind of development for you where you think that you're lacking. And so one time for me, I wanted to learn how to do presentations and speak and public speaking. And so I chose a mentor who was great at that, so that they can help me. And help me sharpen that skill. And then you want someone who may have been in your shoes, whether it's 5 levels up, 2 levels up, that can help you navigate through your career. And then you also want someone from, I know sometimes women, we choose women, and that's great. You want some women on your board of directors or to be your mentors, but it's also good to get a man. And if you're, if you're a minority, you may want somebody who is non-minority group, because this will help you in getting an understanding of these rules, this game that we're playing, and we don't know the rules of the game. And so you want to pick 2 or 3 mentors, but please be strategic in it, and don't pick people that you're like, oh, I know such and such, and that those are easy people, because those are people that you can have lunch with. But as far as building a mentorship relationship, you want to do it with somebody, like I said, that has skill sets that you want to acquire, that has the knowledge of the organization, that has done what that you are aspiring to do, and that can help you build those relationships in order to further your career. Make a list of your advocates, of your sponsors, of your mentors, of your support. You should always know who is on your board of directors and what part they play. This is very key. And some people roll in and roll out. Some people have 2 roles that they play, but you want to make sure that you know who's on your board of directors so that you can call on them accordingly. And like I said, be strategic in your selection. And so you may be like, oh, that person is a mentor. Okay, that person plays as a support. That person may play as a sponsor. And then sometimes you'll see, oh my gosh, I only have 2 mentors. Let me go and solicit 1 more or 2 more. And let me just prefix all of this by saying that you don't want to just go out there and be like, can you be my mentor? No. Mentors usually choose you after you've built the relationship with them. And so they're taking time out of their day, and they want to make sure that they're investing in their time wisely. So again, building relationships, nurturing those relationships is very important, because no, you don't just go up to somebody and say, you're my mentor. No, you develop those relationships, and that's how that whole mentor-mentee relationship starts to foster. So, think about that. And like I said, be strategic in building your board of directors. Rule number 4, you must know the T. Yeah, girl, you must know the T. Careering is about making strategic professional decisions, and you need to do so, and in order to do so, you must know the T. So what does that mean? Stay abreast of industry and company news. Yes, you need to know what is going on in the industry, what's going on in the news that could impact your business or your company or even your career. And let me just give you an example of that. Let's say you're in a field that has now been automated like 85%. So you want to make sure that you are aware of this before you get that pink slip and somebody says, your time is no longer needed. You want to make sure that whatever is the next big thing, that you are developing that skill sets to do that. And if there is a company that may fit your skill set a little bit more than the current company that you're in, you want to be primed for that, and you want to start looking at that job and going out for those roles prior to, like I said, you getting that pink slip. So you need to be aware of what's going on in the industry as well as in your company. Understand company politics. Know who the players are. Know what know how this is. Sometimes we work for good old boy organizations, and you need to understand that, and not to get mad or upset and vent about it. It's more so that you can understand, okay, this is how they work. These are the politics. I need to understand those politics, and I need to adjust accordingly. My strategy needs to be like this because of the environment and the type of organization I'm in. But you need to understand that before you make this plan. And again, this is key. You need to understand whether relationship building is important. You need to understand whether it's a hierarchical organization that you work for. You need to really understand the company politics, corporate politics, and in order for you to navigate your career successfully. And recognize and interpret how to interpret confidential information. Sometimes you're in meetings and your senior leadership may say something without saying a word. And they may leave out something that you need to go, I wonder what that means. Let me go investigate further, or let me just make a mental note of that. But you always want to be listening for what is said and what is not being said. You also want to talk to people, listen to what they're saying, and then, okay, this person said there may be layoffs. What does that mean? And as you're talking to more people, you're getting the tea. All you need to do is just listen. And then you need to make decisions for your career accordingly. But you need to speak to people. You need to understand this in order for you to navigate your career successfully. And people don't tell you this because they're like, oh yeah, the company's gonna tell you. Sometimes it's what they don't tell you or what they don't say is more important than what is being said, okay? So what do you need to do? Understand how the changes impact you. Yes, they'll talk real pie in the sky when they're rolling out certain changes, but you need to understand, okay, how does this impact my career? How does this impact me? And then I need to know what I need to do in order to continue on in my career growth. So like I said, be on the lookout for what is being said and what is not being said, and then determine how that impacts you. Be inquisitive, ask questions. You saw something, you got an email, your company is announcing something, ask questions. What does this mean? How does this relate? How does this work? How does this translate into the overarching goal of the company? What does that mean? Ask questions, be inquisitive, because you will never know if you don't ask, right? And you don't want to sit in a bubble and not know. And then you look up one day and you're like, they said it, but I didn't catch it. I didn't ask that question. And now I'm either getting laid off or I'm being repurposed or repositioned into a position that I don't really want to be in, or my career is now taking a stall or it's halted because of some of the changes that are now impacting me. Okay? And so be proactive. When you hear certain things and when you are aware of certain things, jump on it. Be quick to pivot and make sure that you do things that are aligned with your brand, that are going to help in your career growth. And so you want to be proactive in that and not wait until the day when they're saying, oh, well, you're getting laid off, or we're now reorganizing the company. You want to make sure that you're being proactive because your career is important and no one's going to look out for your career but you. And so be proactive. This is your job. This is your career. You are CEO of your career. So you want to act accordingly and make decisions accordingly. Take action. Now that you know about these things, you ask the questions, you've got information, don't just sit there. Update your resume, network, build relationships, start looking out there, assess what you want out of your career. Maybe you might want to make a career transition. You need to know these things so that you can navigate your career successfully, right? So take action. Once you know better, do better. And so I want you to take heed to all of these rules and take action. And so that concludes our training today. We learned about all the rules, right? You gotta, be relevant. You got to, your branding is important. You gotta know the T. You gotta build your board of directors. These are all rules of the game that you need to know in order to navigate your career successfully. So hopefully you are taking notes. You understand what's needed. You understand what role you play in this, and you're going to take action. And so I leave you with those 4 rules. Again, there are so many more, but I wanted to hit on the the top 4 for you so that you could just get started, because those are easy fixes. Building your board of directors, building your brand, creating that brand campaign, you know, learning to teach, just understanding what's going on and maneuvering accordingly. I want you to take action today, and I want you to navigate your career successfully so that you can be positioned for the desired level of success that you're looking for. And so here's my contact information. I am out there on LinkedIn and Facebook and all of that. And like I said, just relaunched my brand, Impact Business Institute. So I hope to see you soon. And I hope this was great information for you. And I hope you got something out of it. And I want you to take action. I will speak to you later, and good luck with your career. And I wish you the most success. Thank you and have a great evening.